Why does listening need so much practice? First of all, speed. As we say in linguistics, listening is an activity that happens in real time. And what does that mean in practice? That we need to understand speech at the same time that it is produced. Like that. In real language use situations, when we read or write, we can control the time it takes to carry out the activity. We can read faster or slower, and even reread what we've already read. The same with writing. With speech, we need to be faster, but even then, we can still control time a little. We can pause to think about what we're going to say next, and we can also repeat what we've already said, rearrange and explain ideas as we speak. But when we are listening, we have to process what is said as we hear it. Of course, if it's a conversation, we can ask the speaker to repeat, explain, speak more slowly. But in other situations, such as the proficiency exam, for example, this is not possible. In addition to the speed at which speech has to be processed, another factor that can cause difficulty when listening in a foreign language, and causes a lot, is that we may not be well accustomed to the sounds of the language, so it becomes more difficult to understand what is said. Sometimes we even know the words, but we don't recognize the sound when they are spoken, especially when the words have sounds that our mother tongue doesn't have. So, we need to train our ear to easily perceive the sounds of English. And how do we do this? Of course, there are several ways. Practice listening to the language is key. And we can develop our ability to identify sounds and understand what is said simply by listening and paying attention. But if we want to use a more practical approach to get results faster and more accurately, a good way is to understand how language sounds work. We call this phonology. As our course is strategic, we are not going to study phonology. We are just going to use phonology to develop our ability to speak and listen to English. One aspect that tends to cause a lot of confusion, at first, for those who are learning English, is the relationship between speaking and writing. In some languages, the spoken and written form of the words correspond, that is, it is possible to say words that we have never heard, just based on the writing. There are languages that also have a stress marking system, which indicates which syllable of the word is stressed, making it a lot easier to pronounce. English has no such system, and the spoken form does not correspond to the written form. So let's think in terms of sounds. There is a table that has symbols for each sound in the language, called the phonemic chart. We will use this table as a reference, but we don't necessarily need to learn the symbols. It's just to demonstrate in writing what we say about phonology. Right. Now that we know what is important, let's get right down to business. Here are 2 sources of listening material for you to practice. See the link in the description of this video. BBC Podcasts. Manythings.org. Sentence level and whole text level. BBC podcast series is quite interesting, especially the story of Carolina and her friends. If you don't want to listen to the presenters, listen to that and see what you think. Manythings.org has a collection of text with MP3 files in different subjects, and the more recent material allows you to select a range of speeds, so you will be able to slow the speech down or speed it up to suit your level of development. Check it out.